We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester. Transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Tuesday, November 12, 2024. Supreme Court judge recommends that the much-stalled Mario Dean murder trial be transferred from St. James. JFJ says the failure of the authorities to impanel a jury for the Mario Dean murder trial is a national disgrace. Health Minister says he's concerned by data which shows increasing substance abuse among men and boys. In regional news, Guyanese students again topped the charts in CSEC and CAPE exams. In international news, U.S. media say Marco Rubio will be Donald Trump's pick as U.S. Secretary of State. In sports, Arnett beat Tivoli in Battle of the Gardens in the Ray Nephew Premier League. And in business, oil giant Shell wins court battle over cuts to carbon emissions. The details after the break.
Ready to make every step count? The CB Group UE5K is back for its 13th year, and together we're changing lives. And this year we're aiming for 100 more scholarships, 100 more dreams fulfilled. Join us on Sunday, November 24 at 6:30 a.m. at UE Mona. Let's run for dreams, run for hope, and run for a brighter future at the CB Group UE5K and Run with Passion Kids K. Register now at runningeventsja.com and let's make a difference one step at a time.
Catch the first news of the day, a comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. It ought to be transferred and never tried in St. James. Never. That was the declaration of an incensed Supreme Court Judge, Justice Bertram Morrison, in relation to the continued delay in the Mario Dean case. The matter came up for mention in the St. James Circuit Court on Monday, but it was again postponed due to a lack of jurors. Robin Williams reports.
Justice Bertram Morrison had to again push back the trial for the 3 police personnel charged in relation to the 2014 beating death of Mario Dean. The case has been postponed multiple times since it was first brought before the court in 2018. Among the reasons for the continued delay in the case are jurors not being present, postponement of jury trials during the COVID-19 pandemic, delay in Constable Cleven securing legal representation, challenges with witnesses, jurors being engaged in other matters, and insufficient jurors. No jurors turned up again on Monday. Justice Morrison revealed that the police were expected to serve some 3,000 summonses for prospective jurors to attend court, but none was served. To this, Justice Morrison stated, quote, "So it is going to be the Crown's application for an adjournment because of insufficient jurors. 0 jurors. 300 summons were sent out, which were supposed to be served by the police." End quote. He further questioned, "Read what you may into that now. Who is on trial?" To this, the Crown replied, quote, "The matter concerns police officers." End quote. Justice Morrison further queried, "Good. So can't you see what is happening? And mind you, is the DPP office impotent to remedy the situation? It can't be that these three defendants who are presumed innocent until proven guilty do not want this matter to be tried. It can't be." According to Justice Morrison, going forward, he is going to put everything on the record now. He stated that, quote, "The Crown must actively consider a change in venue because it is an embarrassing fact that we're celebrating 10 years. The accused has human rights, and so do the victims' relatives, with the expectation that this matter should be tried and brought to closure. That can't be achieved in this current scenario." A stern Justice Morrison declared that he's, quote, "making a decision for this matter in my view, and I expect it to be embraced. It ought to be transferred and never to be tried in St. James. Never," end quote. But the Crown suggested that a response be sought from the Superintendent of Police to receive a full appreciation of the situation. However, Justice Morrison said he would not be asking the police to take the stand. According to him, this would be self-inflicting wounds. Bail was extended for Corporal Elaine Stewart and Constables Juliana Cleveland and Marlon Grant, who are charged with manslaughter, perverting the course of justice, and misconduct in a public office in Dean's beating death. The matter is to be called up this Thursday, November 14. Mario Dean, who was in jail at the Barnett Street Police Station for a ganja spliff, was brutally beaten while in custody on August 3, 2014. He received severe head wounds that left him in a coma. He died 3 days later in the Cornwall Regional Hospital. The police later charged Adrian Morgan and Marvin Orr for his death. The men shared Dean's jail cell. Morgan and Orr, who suffer from schizophrenia, pleaded guilty to manslaughter and were sentenced to 5 years and 6 months by Justice Glenn Brown in the St. James Circuit Court. They were released by Thursday, July 30, based on time served. A third man, Damian Cargill, was charged in 2015. However, Cargill was ruled unfit to answer the charges or to stand trial. He was released in July 2017 into the care of his family. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice JFJ Michael Jackson has described as a national disgrace the continued inability of the court system to empanel a jury to hear evidence related to the death of Mario Dean. She was speaking on the JFJ's weekly radio program Let's Talk Justice on Monday. The Mario Dean case has been dragging for 10 years. Dana Davey reports.
Mario Dean was severely beaten in 2014 while in custody at the Barnett Street Police Station in St. James. He died in hospital 3 days later. 3 police constables, Elaine Stewart, Juliana Cleveland, and Marlon Grant, are before the courts on manslaughter charges in relation to Dean's death. They're also charged with misconduct in public office and perverting the course of justice. The trial has faced multiple delays as a result of the difficulty in empaneling a jury. 300 summonses were prepared, but there's reportedly no evidence they were ever served. The presiding trial judge reportedly described the situation as a national disgrace. Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ Michael Jackson, agrees.
And I personally echo the sentiments of the judge that this is a national disgrace and it cannot be that an individual dies while in the custody of the state and there is no sense of alacrity in ensuring that the summons are in fact served so that we can have enough people turning up for trial so that the matter can commence. At what point do we say that accountability is not just a buzzword but it actually has some meaning, where if you die while in police custody or if you die at the hands of the state, to me that is greater impetus for the state to act.
2 other men, Adrian Morgan and Marvin Orr, have already been sentenced after pleading guilty to manslaughter in relation to the matter. Ms. Jackson is reiterating her call for the matter to be moved from the St. James Circuit Court to the Home Circuit Court in Kingston. She says more individuals would likely be available to serve as jurors in Kingston. Ms. Jackson has also accused the state of failing to comply with the terms of the Jury Act in relation to the Dean matter.
The state has not been adhering to the law that they themselves should be. Now, if you read the Juror Act, for example, it says that it takes 21 days for the juror summons to be served prior to the trial start date. That has not been adhered to by the state. If you recall us speaking on the matter, what you find happening is that 2 weeks before the trial start date, that is when you have summons being served, and the number of summons being served, quite frankly, they have not been sufficient to ensure that you have a sufficient juror turnout.
Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has raised concerns about an increase in substance abuse among males, including those at the secondary level. He was speaking on Monday at the launch of the findings of the 2023 National Drug Prevalence Survey.
The survey revealed that use among males is significantly higher than females across all measures, lifetime, past year, and current, which is consistent with previous population studies, including among secondary school students. This mirrors what is happening globally, where the use of most psychoactive substances is notably higher among males. What is being experienced in several societies is a narrowing of the gender gap, with a greater proportion, however, of women using substances than in the past years.
Pointing to the number of persons driving under the influence, Dr. Tufton says this has increased from 14.4% to 17.5%.
In relation to driving under the influence of alcohol, another area, this has increased since 2016 from 14.4% to 17.5%, according to the survey. 10% of drivers reported driving under the influence of other drugs, to include cannabis and other illegal drugs, down from 14% in 2016.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says Jamaica's success in the tourism sector reflects the strides that have been made in other sectors. Minister Bartlett was speaking on BBC's Hard Talk with host Stephen Saka. Mahira Stewart has that story.
For 23 minutes, Jamaica's tourism minister was grilled by the BBC's Stephen Sacker. Mr. Sacker questioned Minister Bartlett about whether Jamaica's dependence on tourism to boost its gross domestic product was healthy. Minister Bartlett responded saying the gains made in the tourism sector indicate that other areas of the country, such as agriculture and manufacturing, are also succeeding.
Tourism's role in economic development and economic building is very pervasive and sometimes misunderstood, because tourism is not a single economic activity. It's a confluence of many economic parts, all of which have an economic outcome of its own. So that tourism doesn't happen unless agriculture is flourishing and doing well. It doesn't happen unless manufacturing is flourishing and doing well. It doesn't happen unless energy supplies are available and medical supplies are available and a range of services. It doesn't happen unless entertainment is available, attractions are available. So I could go on and on.
Mr. Sacker further highlighted the 2020 pandemic as proof that being overly reliant on the tourism sector can potentially backfire due to global events. However, Minister Bartlett says the resilience of Jamaica's tourism sector justifies the country's dependence on it.
But that vulnerability is balanced by resilience that tourism has, which is the most resilient of all industry. It bounces back faster and it enables economic recovery at a faster rate. So that within a year and a half of COVID, Jamaica's economy was back on track. In fact, we had 11 consecutive quarters of economic growth, unprecedented in our history, because tourism grew and grew exponentially. In the period, we moved from 0 arrivals in 3 years to 4.3 million arrivals and earning 4.6 billion US dollars.
Mr. Sacker questioned Minister Bartlett's goal of having 8 million visitors in 2024. He asked Minister Bartlett whether or not this goal would put a strain on the country's workforce and resources. Minister Bartlett says in order to achieve his goal, proper infrastructural planning is necessary to accommodate an increase in visitors.
So here's the challenge. The challenge is to build the carrying capacity to enable us to plan appropriately and to accrete your infrastructure capacity to enable this increase in arrivals. So the decision to have 8 million is not lightly taken, and it has to be against the background of a whole series of development and infrastructure improvement, i.e. building carrying capacity over time to enable 8 million.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Government Senator Abka Fitzhenley says civic groups and business interests may assist the process of national development by helping to educate more Jamaicans about the importance of fiscal discipline. Fitzhenley made the comment on Monday while addressing a meeting of the Rotary Club of Kingston East and Port Royal at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston.
I am of the view that it would enumerate to the benefit of the collective good of Jamaica as a country if NGOs, civic organizations, and indeed civil society would assist in the process of being explainers-in-chief, that even while it's important for administrations to pass on benefits to the people of sound economic management, it is important for us to stay the course of what I like to describe as conscientious fiscal discipline, because indeed we owe it to current and future generations not to again engage mistakes of the past where an administration simply pursued a policy of run with it.
Senator Fitzhenley says he's confident the administration can respond to the call for more benefits to be passed on directly to the people, but he argues that it's important for central government not to spend beyond its means.
Ladies and gentlemen, the administration of which I'm a part has commenced the important process of passing on benefits of sound economic management to the people of Jamaica. Over the past few years, we have cut income tax twice, more than doubled the minimum wage, given a one-off $20,000 income tax rebate to some taxpayers, and we have increased pensions. However, understandably, there is a demand for more.
Senator Abka Fitzhenley speaking in New Kingston on Monday night. Meanwhile, Senator Fitzhenley says he's a strong supporter of civil society and their work in advocating against corruption in public office, but he's urging civil society leaders to demonstrate balance in their perspectives.
Disappointed but not taken aback to hear at least one vocal civil society advocate lashing out against the move by a former MP to again offer herself to the Jamaican electorate despite a charge for failing to declare a motor vehicle which she indicated she hardly drove. But the same advocate was silent concerning matters affecting the opposing side of the political fence, where at least 2 members have confessed to breaking the same law, and 1 is to be charged and currently has stewardship of an important body of the parliament. Civil society advocates have a crucial part to play in the fight against corruption. However, in order to be taken seriously, there has to be consistency in the messaging.
Senator Abka Fitzhenley. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
In regional and international news, Guyana has again achieved top honors in the 2024 Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations CAPE for the May to June session. Guyana led the region in outstanding performances for both exams, with each top student hailing from Queen's College. Guyana also excelled in other categories, with students across the country recognized as top performers. In international, two Florida lawmakers known for their tough stance on China are in the running for senior foreign relations jobs in the administration of President-elect Donald Trump. Multiple U.S. media outlets say Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who challenged Trump for the 2016 presidential nomination, is in talks to be his future Secretary of State. And Michael Waltz, a congressman and military veteran, could play his own significant role in Trump's new government. He is a favorite for the post of National Security Advisor. Trump's administration is starting to take shape after his win in last week's presidential election. His Republican Party is closing in on full control of Congress. They have won back control of the Senate, the upper chamber, and are inching towards a majority in the House. Some of the appointments, including Secretary of State, will require senators' approval. He can give out other jobs, like National Security Advisor, directly. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
You good, Mark? No, from where day me I have these terrible heartburns. I don't know why. What kind of food you eating? To tell you the truth, I mostly eat fast food. I live alone and I'm too busy for cook my youth. That's your problem. You're eating too much processed food and building up trans fat. Trans fat? What that? Trans fat is a type of fat in a processed foods like fried chicken, fries, donuts, and them things there. So how that cause heartburn? So eating trans fat can cause acid reflux. So if you don't stop eat it or cut back on the amount you eat, things can get worse. Like what? You can get heart attacks, stroke, type 2 diabetes, or even die. But fats and oils not important for eat, my youth. Yes, but the healthy kind in a vegetable aisle, nuts and fish. Okay, I'm gonna switch up my diet starting today. Just remember to balance it out with your fresh fruits, vegetables, and ground provision.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Time now for your morning sports. Arnott Gardens beat Tivoli 2-1 in the Monday night fixture in the Rare Nephew Premier League at the Tony Spalding Complex. Warner Brown, with his 7th goal of the season, put Arnott in front after 9 minutes. Anthony Nelson equalized for Tivoli 14 minutes later before Kimani Arbuin bagged the winner in the 66th minute. Tivoli played the last 14 minutes with 10 men after Kevin Wilson was sent off for dangerous play. Arnotts are now up to 6th in the standings, while Tivoli remain just a place off the foot of the table. In the first game of the doubleheader, Andre Fletcher scored twice and Nicholas Hamilton once as Waterhouse ran out easy 3-1 winners over Malines United. Jamaica Scorpions will be back in action in the CG United Regional Super 50 today when they face defending champions and host Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in a top-of-the-table clash at the Brian Lara Stadium later on Tuesday. The Scorpions are second in the standings on 14 points, 2 behind the Red Force on 16. The Robert Haynes coached Scorpions will be gunning for a fourth victory. Their last was Sunday's 128-run success against the CCC team. Founder of Grand Slam track four-time Olympic champion Michael Johnson says Kingston was always high on the list of cities to host one of the stops in the inaugural staging of the series. Kingston will host the first leg of this new global spectacle from April 4 to 6, 2025. Los Angeles is another host city, with the other two to be announced later this week. Johnson, who was speaking at the Kingston launch at the Pegasus Hotel on Monday, says Jamaica's capital ticks all the boxes for an event of this magnitude.
We wanted world-class cities that absolutely represent the best cultures that we can infuse into our competition. So it's not just about, with Grand Slam track, it's not a track meet as you would imagine it normally or in the past. It is a festival of speed and a celebration of that. So at the core of that, of course, is the racing. The core of that is the best athletes competing head-to-head. But what do you then surround that with that makes that experience for fans and for our racers as well a richer experience? And it is culture. So we have chosen cities that have a rich culture that we feel like matches well with the competition and the racing. And what better city represents that than Kingston, which has an incredible culture of food and music, but then also has some of the best races in the world.
Herschel Clayton, Rashawn Clark, and Akira Nugent are the Jamaicans who have been contracted for the four-meet track-only series. But Johnson says that there may still be more Jamaicans at the meet, as they're yet to fill out the lanes for the challenges.
So we have another 11 athletes spots to fill on the racers as well. So some of those could be Jamaican athletes, but we have the opportunity with the 48 challengers to go race by race and find the fastest people in that moment and invite them as well. So we have that flexibility, which allows us to be able to make sure that we curate the fastest fields for all of the races and all of the groups.
Michael Johnson. Tickets for the Jamaica leg of Grand Slam track will go on sale on December 6 at 10 a.m. local time. And that's it for your morning sports.
Wellington Dental believes that a smile tells 1,000 words. They are dedicated to giving their patients high-quality dental care, offering a full range of dental services so all of your family's needs are met under one roof. Fillings, extractions, crowns, bridges, and much more. They also accept patients using wheelchair. Visit Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town's premier dental provider. Call them today at 876-749-3515.
In business this morning, the BBC is reporting that oil giant Shell has won a landmark case in the Dutch courts, overturning an earlier ruling requiring it to cut its carbon emissions by 45%. The Hague Court of Appeal said it could not establish that Shell had a social standard of care to reduce its emissions by 45% or any other amount, even though it agreed the company had an obligation to citizens to limit emissions. 3 years ago, a court in The Hague backed a case by Friends of the Earth and 17,000 Dutch citizens requiring Shell to reduce its CO2 emissions significantly, in line with the Paris Climate Accords. The ruling came as climate talks involving some 200 countries got underway in Azerbaijan. Shell said it was pleased with the court's decision, but Friends of the Earth in Netherlands said the ruling was a setback that affected them deeply. The environmental group can now take its case against Shell to the Supreme Court, but a final verdict could be years away. The struggling genetic testing company 23andMe says it will cut 40% of its workforce, or 200 jobs, as it fights for survival. According to the BBC, the once popular DNA testing site will also halt work on therapies it was developing. Last year, the company said hackers had managed to gain access to personal information of millions of its users. 23andMe's share price has fallen by more than 70% this year. The company said it expected to incur one-off costs of $12 million, including severance pay, for the plan that will result in savings of $35 million. Finally now, in foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar has lost 5 cents and will open trading today, selling for an average $159.24 against the benchmark U.S. dollar. The Jamaican dollar has gained $1.26 and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $113.90 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican has gained $2.29 and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $204.27 against the British pound. And that's it for business this morning.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:30.
I don't have no time for whole heap of paperwork. That's why I downloaded and signed up for my One Jane Passport app. Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The temperature by the One Jane Passport app is
28 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston and 27 out west in Montego Bay.
Yo, run the track! Burger King 5K and Relay is back! Sunday, November 10th, 6 a.m. New venue, Emancipation Park. Register with your school, alma mater, or companies to win a share of over $1 million. Past students, run, walk, or crawl, but finish the race for the BK Big Finish Prize. Register now at www.runningeventsja.com. Yo, run the track! Burger King 5K and Relay. Sponsored by Rainforest, Soccer Express, Burger King, developing schools and communities through sports.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Lightning speed, yeah. Take a seat and wait till I'm ready. I'm coming, so hold on steady, yeah. Big ships sailing on the ocean. We don't need no commotion. Big ships sailing on the ocean. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Say big ships sailing on the ocean. Big ships sailing on the ocean. Whoa, 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 yeah. There's a time when the sea gets rough, the wind is blowing and the fishes keep moving. What are you doing, Mr. Man? Sit down, hold on tight, get ready cause we're sailing. Big ships sailing on the ocean, and we don't need no commotion. Big ships sailing on the ocean. Get ready cause we're moving. Big ships sailing on the ocean. Whoa, 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 yeah. Big ships sailing on the ocean. Oh, yeah. Say when I'm ready, you must hold on steady. We're moving off at lightning speed, yeah. Take a seat and just wait till I'm ready. I'm coming, I'm coming. Hold on steady cause big ships sailing on the ocean. We don't need no commotion. Big ships sailing on the ocean. We got to come over. Big ships sailing on the ocean. Oh, 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 yeah.
Yes, give us all silence. His Majesty made. Jah Rastafari.
Chapter a day, keep the devil away. Behold the heavenly truth, yeah, 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 yeah. The works of His Majesty I done proclaim. Behold the Emperor, the works is perfect. Perfection is the key to life. Behold the Emperor. Yeah, yeah, now the works are beautiful down here in this church. In this soul separation, and I people. Rise every day now. Rise and guide that people through this struggle.
Good morning to you. You are tuned in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, The Big Show. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us this Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, November 12, 2024. Very happy to have all of you joining us this morning on the YouTube platform. That's Nationwide 90 FM Live. Out there in Radioland as well as our other platforms. Hello to you. Happy to have you this morning. I'm Tonna Thomas.
Morning, Tonna.
Hey,
I'm George.
To you, George.
Hi.
I'm in a great mood this morning. Yeah.
You?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to the party.
Yes. I'm in such a good mood this morning.
Sweet.
And, you know, George, just before going to what's on my mind, I should say a special good morning to the field representatives at Flow, especially Donovan Taylor, who visited my apartment yesterday to replace my modem. I've been having some difficulties with my internet. And he and his colleague who visited yesterday and had the modem changed, they were so professional, George. Very, very pleasant gentlemen. It was pretty late in the afternoon. and they still visited my home and got the work done and had a little time to chit chat and, tell some life stories. Yeah, but I had such a pleasant interaction with them. And I should say a big shout out to the folks at Flow this morning. Yeah, Jeremy Sally. Yeah, it was a really, because you hear so many stories, George, of the telecommunications providers and their people, and the experience is not great and all of that. So when you have a good experience, you have to come back and tell the listeners and our viewers that, I had a really good experience from the representatives from Flow yesterday who changed out my modem.
Contrasted with Arik, who hasn't had Flow service since before.
Yeah.
What is it again? Beryl.
From Beryl in July. So I'll come here and cause for my listeners, my viewers, who are having their difficulties. But for me, I was a happy camper customer yesterday. Anywho, on my mind this morning, George and listeners, I think what I'm doing this morning is some context as well as providing my views to the matter that I'm providing context on. A matter that has been in the news as well. Now, that matter is about body-worn cameras. I think the announcement of this tool dates back to 2016, George, when I just started working here at Nationwide. The commissioner at the time, police commissioner at the time, was Dr. Carl Williams. And in collaboration with the United States Embassy, they launched this body-worn camera project. The announcement, or the goal of the project at the time, was aimed at reducing conflict between law enforcement officers and citizens. At the time as well, in 2016, a total of 120 body cameras were issued to lawmen from St. Andrews Central, St. Andrews South, Kingston Eastern, Kingston Central, motorized and traffic divisions of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And over the 8-year period, from then to now, the body-worn camera program, I'd say it's crawling. It's not moving at the pace that I thought it would at the time when I attended those assignments and heard the announcement about this project back in 2016. At one point, we had heard that there were issues with the first set of cameras that they received in collaboration with the embassy. Then we were told that the cameras were not compatible with the uniforms of the serving members. We also heard of issues with the procurement of the cameras and security surrounding those. There are also issues regarding legislation relating to the storage and the use of data gathered from those body-worn cameras. In December last year, the data indicated that 400 of the devices had been introduced to the force. The total number of body cameras now in the system is unknown, but the National Security Minister and the new police commissioner had indicated that 1,000 more cameras were coming. What I know is that there has been consensus, George, listeners, on the use of the cameras in daily front-facing policing, for example, in our towns and market districts and traffic policing. There have been a few instances where Jamaicans have shared videos of police personnel wearing the cameras. It's not known if the number of cameras available are all deployed and are being used. And it's not known to what extent, if and how, footage or audio captured has assisted the police in any of its investigations. But the latest contention on the device follows a recent Independent Commission of Investigation INDECOM quarterly briefing. The Commissioner's Deputy Commissioner, Hamish Campbell, while speaking at the briefing, noted that last year there were 155 police killings and 66 people were injured, wounded. He says in none of the cases was a working, keyword working, body-worn camera deployed. He then indicated that there was a body camera deployed in one case, but the officer failed to turn on the device. Further, so far for 2024, there have been 149 fatal shootings by the police, with 58 of those resulting from 50 planned operations. The device was not used in any of those incidents. Campbell also spoke of at least 4 instances where police personnel did not turn their cameras on, and 1 incident where the camera was turned on, George, but after the incident. On the matters of operations, the National Security Minister has said he believes the cameras during active pursuit are of little value. He says if you get in combat with a camera on your chest, you'll perhaps have to dive for cover and the camera will fall off, and then they're of little value in that sort of situation. Now, a couple of things. I believe the administration and the police support transparency on this matter. But the slow nature of the widespread implementation and use of the devices will cause Jamaicans to question if that is really so. There is need, I think, for the JCF to give better particulars about how its personnel are using the device and where and how the data is gathered, how that is being stored, and how it is being used. And whether it has been able to use the footage or the audio in any cases before the courts so far. The Indicom briefing seems to suggest that police personnel don't really know how to operate the devices or haven't been adequately trained, because we've had 5 instances mentioned in the briefing where they didn't turn on the camera during the situation or incidents, and then 1 turned it on after the incident ended. So I go back to noting the instances that I mentioned. If the JCF could explain what happened in those instances, and if training is the problem, then that must be addressed. Now, on the matter of cameras in operations, I hear the arguments by Indicom for transparency. I hear those by the National Security Minister about combat difficulties that may render the use of the cameras in those instances of no value. What I'd suggest this morning is a trial run on the device's use in combat. Perhaps the police could conduct this trial in a controlled setting, as they do in other training instances, and then roll it out in a phase for combat use as well. What you do is document the results, the footage, the audio, and the experiences of the police personnel using them. Then you use that data to make the case of whether it is of value and useful in active pursuit or combat, or whether it's not. But I don't think we should adopt the posture of not using them despite the arguments proffered. Let the practical use take place in our locale, and then decide what we use or what we don't use. And that's what's on my mind.
Youth in conflict with the law can get a second chance through child diversion. For more information, visit moj.gov.jm. The time by the Ministry of Justice is
6:47.
Want to start investing in real estate with as little as $25,000? Then the JMMB Optimum Capital Real Estate Fund may fit your future best with tax-free advantages and returns above inflation. Visit jm.jmmb.com to get started today. Conditions apply.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Good morning, Lotto McLean with Street Smart Swan. How goes it?
Morning. Overcast conditions, George. Morning to our listeners. Morning, Tona.
Hey to you, Ludlow.
Right, and our listeners, everyone in there in the studios and all our sponsors. Just to tell you that right now it's overcast and Roadways are busy as usual, but remember, reminding you of the various potholes. George, I want to highlight this one. As you go through, do you know a Tasty party in Crossroads? Pilburn Avenue, and you make that left to go to Retirement Crescent. It's like a horseshoe road. It takes you back onto Retirement. It's a horseshoe. The road is really, really one of the worst ones I've seen. You know, really terrible. Very difficult for motorists. But it's there, water is there constantly, and it's really a problem in that area. So Richmond Park, not Richmond Park, Retirement Road community, just in the vicinity of that place that sells belts and all of that. I think it's PJ Anna. All right, so look out for those motorists who are having a difficulty today. In the meantime, regular routes, Spanish Town Road is traffic moving southbound from 6 miles, and from 6 miles to Washington Boulevard is the same thing, slow moving, coming up the top of the foot of Redis, coming along Mullines Road, steady until they get past the Western District Post Office. That's where the traffic builds. So that intersection of Mullines Boulevard, busy. Well, if you're going up the boulevard towards Dunrabin, you're going to have build up at that intersection again. You're coming down Constance Street as far as Banner Park. It is slowing all the way towards Mayor Brown's Corner, and then it slows up at the intersection again at Shortsworth and the Constance Street Road. And going into Tree Square, building, all the lanes are busy going into Tree Square. The Falga Road, Waterloo Road also has a bit of traffic, but that's moving right now. Here. The top of Arden Road, Arden Oak Road intersection going into westbound into Tree, even have traffic in the vicinity of Tree Square. But by and large, going further down Tree Road, it's moving steadily, building all the time. So by the time we get to our second report, I have no doubt that most intersections will be busy. So until our second report at 7:18, it's back to you, George, in the studios.
Ludlow?
Yes, sir?
Just before you go, you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, man. If I crack an egg in a frying pan, put the frying pan with the egg into the air fryer, and set the air fryer to bake, have I fried the egg or have I baked the egg? All right.
You baked the egg.
You baked the egg?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Big up yourself. Thank you very much, Ludlow. Talk again for Street Spots 2. Up next, the word of the day.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Your word of if. The word of the day provided by dictionary.com this Tuesday morning is spelled ASYNDETON. Spelled ASYNDETON.
Asyndeton. Asyndeton. Asyndeton.
Asyndeton is your word of the day. It's a noun and it means the omission of conjunctions. Asyndeton is your word of the day. A noun meaning the omission of conjunctions. Dictionary.com is telling us that the word asyndeton, first recorded between 1580 and 1590, and to use it in a sentence, the politician's speech was packed with asyndeton. She delivered each phrase sharply with no pause between her points. Another for you, the speaker used asyndeton to create a dramatic, fast-paced rhythm in his speech. Asyndeton is your word of the day, spelt again, ASYNDETON.
So on the YouTube chat, the people are divided. Some people say baked. Marigold says fricked. Clancy says it's an air fryer, so you fry the egg. Did run the city? Oh God, what a name! Did run the city? Says George, you didn't buy an air baker. Stop the foolishness. So you're right. So Diddy, you're saying that it's an air fryer, so I fried fry. All right, I hear you. Yeah, so I put the air. No man, Diddy. We know what I mean. Him just a track card. Anyway, but Diddy, I put the air fryer setting to bake, and put the egg inside. So when it done, it ready. Wait, do it bake or it fry? It's just a simple question. It's a simple question.
Here are some comments before we go, George, on the What's on My Mind. I got some DMs. Someone said, I understand the views of people who may never be in quick action, high adrenaline, high stress situations. When you're on patrol and you hear an explosion, the first reaction isn't to turn on any device. Even if your phone is in hand, it's thrown aside. So some of the views coming in reaction to this body. But I think if you're going on an operation or the moment you get on active duty, it should be on. Isn't that how it works? That you turn on the camera. Once you have clocked in, you get on the roads to do your duties, you turn on the cameras. I mean, I've seen the videos in the US where they get into their patrol vehicles, cameras go on them, and cameras go on the cars.
But that's a different thing because you're going to the scene of a domestic disturbance. Where it is that you're going into as an area where you're likely to come under fire based on the intelligence you have is going to be different, because in the lead up to that you'll be talking about perhaps tactical deployment or just speaking in a way that you wouldn't want captured for posterity through the cameras. So Jermaine says, why? I mean, police don't make operational details public.
You don't want people to know your strategies like that.
So I'm saying, so if you're going to somewhere, so I'm not making an excuse for them, I'm just giving a reasoning to extend the point that you've made. So that could probably be why. Look, I'm for the cameras to be used.
Yeah.
Just blanket. Yeah. So anyway them can use, and I'm supporting what you've said. Since when I said them a drop off within a conflict zone,
do a trial run. Do a trial run and let's see the results of what the trial run says. All right, gonna go to our features at the top of the hour of the news.
Have you been struggling with keeping your 4C hair moist? What techniques have you tried? Maybe it's time to change your products or your hair moisturizing technique. Today on Food for Thought, we look at 2 techniques that can be used to moisturize your hair. There are 2 techniques that have been recommended to moisturize your 4C hair. These are the liquid oil cream method, or LOC, and the liquid cream oil method, or LCO. The only difference between the 2 is that for one, oil is used before cream, and for others, the cream is used before oil. The liquid oil cream method, or LOC, requires hydrating the hair with water or a water-based product, which is your liquid. This is done first. Then, sealing in the moisture with oil and subsequently applying a cream product to close the hair cuticle, which prevents moisture loss. It's really not a one-size-fits-all, but rather a guide on how to apply your hair products so your natural hair stays moisturized for a longer period of time. Here are 3 reasons why the LOC method works. 1. Water is moisture. Hence, it's a no-brainer that adding water as a liquid to your hair is going to moisturize and hydrate. The issue is retaining that moisture from water, and that is where the other 2 components of the LOC method come into play. 2. Oil helps the hair hold water molecules. This is the tricky step, and some people get confused. It's true that oil and water don't mix. There are certain natural oils like coconut, avocado, or olive oil that have the ability to penetrate the hair. This then binds with the hair's protein. Lastly, cream locks in moisture. There's an ongoing debate as to what actually is an appropriate cream. The purpose of the cream component is really to seal or lock in moisture introduced from liquid and oil. Many women consider their styling products or conditioner creams. Some persons tend to use their leave-in conditioner as the cream. This is acceptable as many of these products have ingredients that act as sealants for moisture. The most important thing to consider is that your cream is moisturizing. It should seal the hair cuticle or act as a sealant. It is best to use natural products that seal and coat the hair. They are more likely to retain moisture and allow the hair to absorb additional moisture when doing rehydration between shampoos or co-washes. It's important to know though that if you live in harsh winter climates or have extremely dry hair, it is best to use butters like shea butter as your cream. In a case where you aren't using oils that penetrate the hair, it is recommended that you use your cream before your oil. This is the LCO method. liquid cream, and then oil. If you've never attempted these before, test them and see which technique works best for you and your hair. Let's invest in healthy natural hair and appropriate moisturizing techniques for 2021. That's food for thought for today.
Fearless and fair, nationwide 90 FM.
One of the biggest fears people might have is walking into a room filled with strangers. Here are some tips that might help you deal with that awkward moment. I'm Tana, and these are your lifestyle pages. Make a good first impression. This means having a friendly expression on your face and making eye contact. Put yourself together. If you don't feel good about yourself, others will notice. Introduce yourself to one person at a time. Shake someone's hand. This gives you the edge, and make eye contact while you do so. Be on the lookout for a shy person. This will give you an opportunity to show your people skills. I'm Tana, and those were your lifestyle pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
From Negril Point to Morant Bay, a little kindness can go a far way. The time by the Jamaica Information Service is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston or Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 this morning, Tuesday, November 12, 2024, Supreme Court judge recommends that the much-stalled Mario Dean murder trial be transferred from St. James. JFJ says the failure of the authorities to empanel a jury for the Mario Dean murder trial is a national disgrace. Health Minister says he's concerned by data which shows increasing substance abuse among men and boys. And in international news, U.S. media say Marco Rubio will be Donald Trump's pick as U.S. Secretary of State.
News at 7 is brought to you by Fosrich, your electrical, lighting, solar, and LED people.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. It ought to be transferred and never tried in St. James. Never. That was the declaration from an incensed Supreme Court Judge, Justice Bertram Morrison, in relation to the continued delay in the Mario Dean case. The matter came up for mention in the St. James Circuit Court on Monday, but it was again postponed due to a lack of jurors. Robian Williams reports.
Justice Bertram Morrison had to again push back the trial for the 3 police personnel charged in relation to the 2014 beating death of Mario Dean. The case has been postponed multiple times since it was first brought before the court in 2018. Among the reasons for the continued delay in the case are jurors not being present, postponement of jury trials during the COVID-19 pandemic, delay in Constable Cleven securing legal representation, challenges with witnesses, jurors being engaged in other matters, and insufficient jurors. No jurors turned up again on Monday. Justice Morrison revealed that the police were expected to serve some 3,000 summonses for prospective jurors to attend court, but none was served. To this, Justice Morrison stated, quote, "So it is going to be the Crown's application for an adjournment because of insufficient jurors. 0 jurors. 300 summons were sent out which were supposed to be served by the police." End quote. He further questioned, "Read what you may into that now. Who is on trial?" To this, the Crown replied, quote, "The matter concerns police officers." End quote. Justice Morrison further queried, "Good. So can't you see what is happening? And mind you, is the DPP office impotent to remedy the situation? It can't be that these 3 defendants who are presumed innocent until proven guilty do not want this matter to be tried. It can't be." According to Justice Morrison, going forward, he's going to put everything on the record now. He stated that, quote, The Crown must actively consider a change in venue because it is an embarrassing fact that we're celebrating 10 years. The accused has human rights, and so do the victims' relatives, with the expectation that this matter should be tried and brought to closure. That can't be achieved in this current scenario. A stern Justice Morrison declared that he's, quote, making a decision for this matter in my view, and I expect it to be embraced. It ought to be transferred and never to be tried in St. James. Never. End quote. But the Crown suggested that a response be sought from the Superintendent of Police to receive a full appreciation of the situation. However, Justice Morrison said he would not be asking the police to take the stand. According to him, this would be self-inflicting wounds. Bail was extended for Corporal Elaine Stewart and Constables Juliana Cleveland and Marlon Grant, who are charged with manslaughter, perverting the course of justice, and misconduct in a public office in Dean's beating death. The matter is to be called up this Thursday, November 14. Mario Dean, who was in jail at the Barnett Street Police Station for a ganja spliff, was brutally beaten while in custody on August 3, 2014. He received severe head wounds that left him in a coma. He died 3 days later in the Cornwall Regional Hospital. The police later charged Adrian Morgan and Marvin Orr for his death. The men shared Dean's jail cell. Morgan and Orr, who suffer from schizophrenia, pleaded guilty to manslaughter and were sentenced to 5 years and 6 months by Justice Glenn Brown in the St. James Circuit Court. They were released by Thursday, July 30, based on time served. A third man, Damian Cargill, was charged in 2015. However, Cargill was ruled unfit to answer the charges or to stand a trial. He was released in July 2017 into the care of his family. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice JFJ Michael Jackson has described as a national disgrace the continued inability of the court system to empanel a jury to hear evidence related to the death of Mario Dean. Ms. Jackson is also reiterating her call for the matter to be moved from the St. James Circuit Court to the Home Circuit Court in Kingston. She says more individuals would likely be available to serve as jurors in the corporate area. She's accused the state of failing to comply with the terms of the Jury Act in relation to the Dean matter.
The state has not been adhering to the law that they themselves should be. Now, if you read the Jury Act, for example, it says that it takes 21 days for the juror summons to be served prior to the trial start date. That has not been adhered to by the state. If you recall us speaking on the matter, what you find happening is that 2 weeks before the trial start date, that is when you have summons being served, and the number of summons being served, quite frankly, they have not been sufficient to ensure that you have a sufficient juror turnout.
Michael Jackson, Executive Director of JFJ, she was speaking on the JFJ's weekly radio program, Let's Talk Justice on Monday, aired on Nationwide 90 FM. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has raised concern about an increase in substance abuse among males, including those at the secondary school level. He was speaking on Monday at the launch of the findings for the 2023 National Drug Prevalence Study.
The survey revealed that use among males is significantly higher than females across all measures, lifetime, past year, and current, which is consistent with previous population studies, including among secondary school students. This mirrors what is happening globally, where the use of most psychoactive substances is notably higher among males. What is being experienced in several societies is a narrowing of the gender gap, with a greater proportion, however, of women using substances than in the past years.
Dr. Tufton says even more persons are driving under the influence.
In relation to driving under the influence of alcohol, another area, this has increased since 2016 from 14.4% to 17.5%, according to the survey. 10% of drivers reported driving under the influence of other drugs, to include cannabis and other illegal drugs, down from 14% in 2016.
Dr. Chris Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness. The Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett says Jamaica's success in the tourism business reflects the strides that have been made in other sectors in the society. He was speaking on BBC's Hard Talk with host Stephen Sacker. Mahira Stewart has that story.
For 23 minutes, Jamaica's tourism minister was grilled by the BBC's Stephen Sacker. Mr. Sacker questioned Minister Bartlett about whether Jamaica's dependence on tourism to boost its gross domestic product was healthy. Minister Bartlett responded saying the gains made in the tourism sector indicate that other areas of the country, such as agriculture and manufacturing, are also succeeding.
Tourism's role in economic development and economic building is very pervasive and sometimes misunderstood, because tourism is not a single economic activity. It's a confluence of many economic parts, all of which have an economic outcome of its own. So that tourism doesn't happen unless agriculture is flourishing and doing well. It doesn't happen unless manufacturing is flourishing and doing well. It doesn't happen unless energy supplies are available and medical supplies are available and a range of services. It doesn't happen unless entertainment is available, attractions are available. So I could go on and on.
Mr. Sacker further highlighted the 2020 pandemic as proof that being overly reliant on the tourism sector can potentially backfire due to global events. However, Minister Bartlett says the resilience of Jamaica's tourism sector justifies the country's dependence on it.
But that vulnerability is balanced by resilience that tourism has, which is the most resilient of all industry. It bounces back faster and it enables economic recovery at a faster rate. So that within a year and a half of COVID, Jamaica's economy was back on track. In fact, we had 11 consecutive quarters of economic growth, unprecedented in our history, because tourism grew and grew exponentially. In the period, we moved from 0 arrivals in 3 years to 4.3 million arrivals and earning 4.6 billion US dollars.
Mr. Sacker questioned Minister Bartlett's goal of having 8 million visitors in 2024. He asked Minister Bartlett whether or not this goal would put a strain on the country's workforce and resources. Minister Bartlett says in order to achieve his goal, proper infrastructural planning is necessary to accommodate an increase in visitors.
So here's the challenge. The challenge is to build the carrying capacity, to enable us to plan appropriately and to accrete your infrastructure capacity to enable this increase in arrivals. So the decision to have 8 million is not lightly taken, and it has to be against the background of a whole series of development and infrastructure improvement, i.e. building carrying capacity over time to enable 8 million.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Government Senator Abka Fitzhenley says civic groups and business interests may assist the process of national development by helping to educate more Jamaicans about the importance of fiscal discipline. He made the comment on Monday while addressing a meeting of the Rotary Club of Kingston East and Port Royal at the Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston.
I am of the view that it would enumerate to the benefit of the collective good of Jamaica as a country if NGOs, civic organizations and indeed civil society would assist in the process of being explainers-in-chief, that even while it's important for administrations to pass on benefits to the people of sound economic management, it is important for us to stay the course of what I like to describe as conscientious fiscal discipline, because indeed we owe it to current and future generations not to again engage mistakes of the past where an administration simply pursued a policy of run with it.
Senator Fitzhenley says he's confident the JLP administration can respond to the call for more benefits to be passed on directly to the people, but he argues that it's important for a central government not to spend beyond its means.
Ladies and gentlemen, the administration of which I'm a part has commenced the important process of passing on benefits of sound economic management to the people of Jamaica. Over the past few years, we have cut income tax twice, more than doubled the minimum wage, given a one-off $20,000 income tax rebate to some taxpayers, and we have increased pensions. However, understandably, there is a demand for more.
Meanwhile, Senator Fitzhenley says he's a strong supporter of civil society and their work in advocating against corruption in public office, but he's urging civil society leaders to demonstrate balance in their perspectives.
I was disappointed but not taken aback to hear at least one vocal civil society advocate lashing out against the move by a former MP to again offer herself to the Jamaican electorate despite a charge for failing to declare a motor vehicle which she indicated she hardly drove. But the same advocate was silent concerning matters affecting the opposing side of the political fence, where at least 2 members have confessed to breaking the same law, and 1 is to be charged and currently has stewardship of an important body of the parliament. Civil society advocates have a crucial part to play in the fight against corruption. However, in order to be taken seriously, there has to be consistency in the messaging.
Government Senator Abka Fitzhenley. The Manchester police are probing the shooting death of a man in Clarkstown district, poorest in the parish, on Monday night. The man has been identified as Samik Stevens, otherwise called Brown Man or Ghost, a resident of Clarkstown. Residents reportedly heard loud explosions at about 9:40 p.m. Stevens was later found suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. It's believed he was walking home when he was attacked. This latest incident puts the number of murders recorded in Manchester so far this year to 44. At this time last year, the murder tally was 38. International news now. 2 Florida lawmakers known for their tough stance on China are in the running for senior foreign relations jobs in the administration of President-elect Donald Trump. Multiple U.S. media outlets say Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who challenged Trump for the 2016 presidential nomination, is in talks to be his future Secretary of State. And Michael Waltz, a congressman and military veteran, could play his own significant role in Trump's new government. He is favored for the post of National Security Advisor. Trump's administration is starting to take shape after his win in last week's presidential election. His Republican Party is closing in on full control of Congress. They've won back control of the Senate, the upper chamber, and are inching towards a majority in the House. Some of the appointments, including Secretary of State, will require Senators' approval, but Trump can give out other jobs like National Security Advisor directly. That's the news.
News at 7 was brought to you by Fosrich, your electrical, lighting, solar, and LED people.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:16.
Wellington Dental believes that a smile tells 1,000 words. They are dedicated to giving their patients high-quality dental care, offering a full range of dental services so all of your family's needs are met under one roof. Fillings, extractions, crowns, bridges, and much more. They also accept patients using wheelchair. Visit Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town's premier dental provider. Call them today at 876-749-3515.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George. Morning to all our listeners and our visitors. Good morning. It is now bright and sunny. Some sky, we noticed some clouds, yes, cirrus and nimbus and all of that, but no sign of any cumulus clouds, which is the darker ones, dark clouds, and no bleak conditions, right? But the traffic situation, as usual at this time, we remember, motorists, it's a peak hour, so you're going to have traffic in all the major thoroughfares. I want to point out that we noticed some potholes developing along Bay Farm Road and in the vicinity of Campbell's Boulevard. It's in the Kingston 11 area there. So be mindful of those in addition to what I've mentioned this morning in the vicinity of Retirement Crescent, which is off Retirement Road. It's a horseshoe road. So that one is really, really deplorable. But Walton Park Road in both directions is not too bad. However, The northbound side is not really the problem, but going southbound, connecting with Walton Park and Hagley Park Road, and even going beyond that towards Spanish are really in a bad condition, the roadways. But you just have to navigate as safely as possible. All right, so it's our second report. Boy, I tell you, George, the mountains are looking green and lush green. Tell you. Anyway, have a great day. Over to you, George.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow McLean there with Street Smarts 2. Up next, front page.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Turning our attention now to the front page. Still having by-election discussions as we look to November 22, next Friday. Two constituencies and two divisions are gearing up for the November 22 by-elections. The by-elections will be held in South Trelawney and Northwest St. Andrew, as well as the Morant Bay and Anantown divisions. In South Trelawney, the candidates are the JLP's Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert and independent candidate Lloyd Gillings. Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert resigned last year as Speaker of the House and Member of Parliament. Her resignation came after the Integrity Commission ruled that she be charged for failing to declare ownership of a Mercedes-Benz. Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert has denied intentionally failing to make the declaration and is challenging the matter against the Integrity Commission in court. She's due back in court in December. At her nomination, Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert told party supporters that now is the right time to return her as Member of Parliament for South Trelawney.
The conscience that allowed me to resign, although I did not have to. I did because I felt it was the responsible thing to do. And the same conscience that guided that decision is the conscience that I have this morning that makes me know that my decision to return to serve the people of South Carolina is the right decision at the right time.
Her challenger, Lloyd Gillings, expressed confidence that he's the right man to lead the constituency. Mr. Gillings was the PNP standard bearer in the 2020 general elections. He lost to Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert by 4,084 votes. In the 2012 local government elections, Mr. Gillings won the Albertown division in South Trelawney for the JLP. Lloyd Gillings joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. Mr. Gillings, you are back on the election front, running again, this time as an independent candidate. Why are you throwing back your hat in the ring?
Well, first of all, South Trelawney is a constituency that I'm very familiar with. And when I look at what is happening and see how this constituency has been neglected, it brings tears to my eyes. It just, I cannot sit back and allow these things to happen. And to just have somebody resign and then just come back and just one-man race. I don't believe in a one-man race. I know we have young people in South Trelawney, very much qualified, who can take up this offer, take up this job, and do better than the present member of parliament doing at this time.
Well, Mr. Gillings, Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert resigned. You have ran on a JLP ticket and won. Then you switched. You went to the PNP. You lost twice in terms of, divisional elections. Lost twice as well in terms of running for an MP. The people seem to have called for Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert's return based on what she's saying. What makes you think they don't appreciate her representation and you'll have a chance of winning over her next Friday?
Well, if you look at the few people that went out there, I don't believe it is fair to the people in South Carolina to say that this is the popular people say that they won back. It was just a handful of people, and if you look at the roads, it's in a very, very, very bad condition. For a 3-time, 4-term member of parliament, Speaker of the House, I mean, what time are you going to fix it? What time are you going to give us water? These are the concerns. When I ran the 2020 election, I didn't really plan to run, but the gentleman that's supposed to run stepped back just 5 minutes before nomination day, and when I was called, I just answered the call, and we didn't have enough time to campaign, but it was a good campaign. Each time I run, I bring the constituency closer to winning. So I believe the constituency is now in a good position of winning.
Are you saying it's a widely held view in South Trelawney that the people don't want Marissa Dalrymple Philibert?
Well, from what is on the ground now, you see, most of the people that voted, even in the last election, they vote along party line. But I think this is getting out of hand. I think this is too much. It's not so much the voting for Marissa Dalrymple. I think it's along party line. But I think the people of South Trelawney, their eyes are open. I believe they see what is happening, and it cannot get any worse.
But what are your chances of winning?
Well, I have a very good chances of winning. As I said, each time I run, the constituency, I take it closer. If you look at the Alberton division, when I run on the JLP ticket, I won this division by over 600 votes. And when I run again, I break it down. So each time I run, it is right down. The last local government election, I lost it by about 70 votes.
I'm looking at the 2020 general election statistics, Mr. Gillings. You got 3,025 votes. Marissa Dalrymple Philibert got 7,109 votes. So she beat you by over 4,000 votes. Do you think you can narrow that gap?
Yeah, I should be able to narrow that gap. As I said before, if you look at the Alberton division, people came out, and each time I run, it breaks down. So, I think it's a very good chance for me. I think now is the time. I think this is just a good shot of it.
Lloyd Gillings, morning.
Morning.
Right. For those of us who are not in Trelawney, especially in the south, talk to me and talk to us about how life is in South Trelawney for the people who are expected to elect an MP November 22. What are the conditions there in the constituency?
Well, I believe what is on the people's mind now, because as you know, since I was born, there was no running water there.
How old are you?
I'm now 54.
Okay.
And since then we have no running water.
So hold on, Lloyd. We're reasoning. Nowhere in the constituency is there piped water into the home, or in some places. Tell me. That's what I'm wanting to get to know. The details. Paint the picture for me. Where in the constituency do they have piped water into their homes, and where are the people still without? Tell me that.
Okay, there's not a single pipe run in South Trelawney, especially at the top Trelawney. We have a top Trelawney.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lower Trelawney, especially in the top Trelawney area. We have absolutely no stuff.
Hold on.
Not even a spoon.
All right. So hold on. So Trelawney, South Trelawney, where you are running.
Right.
You have the communities. Let's go by the divisions: Lorimers, Warsop, Albertown, Ulster Spring. I'm sure you're not saying that no community in those divisions has piped water running to the residents' home. That's not what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
The
only thing that saved the people,
mm-hmm.
the two things that saved the people in South Trelawney.
Yeah.
As you're aware, I don't think you're aware, there was Patmore set up a water system over there in the Lorville area.
In Lorimers.
That is right.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lifesaver for many people in the constituency and neighboring parishes. In the Albertown division, when I was a councillor, I am the one who set up a catchment tank. I support the community by building a tank there.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I donated the first 500 blocks toward the project,
mm-hmm.
and I asked the parish council for help.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the one who started that project, and so water can in the setting area.
Yeah.
I know some pipes used to be in the Waitavit area, and they took them out.
Yeah.
They took them out.
So apart from Lorimers, where Mr. Patmore set up that system that you speak, or is it still serving the residents in Lorimers?
Yes.
All right.
Serving the residents
Right.
in Lorimers.
So apart from that water system that Paul Patmore, the funeral parlor owner, set up in Lorimers, the businessman, apart from that system, you're saying that no other community in Trelawney Southern can a man or a woman wake up in a them house and turn on them pipe and get water?
Not from the NWC pipe. They're from their own tank. There's a few pipes in Troy.
Yeah.
And there's a few pipes in Ulster Spring. But there's no water going to the people in the houses.
All right. Hold the line for me, Lloyd. We're coming back. Lloyd Gillings. He's running as an independent candidate against Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, South Trelawney, November 22. And he's describing for us the conditions that he says exist in South Trelawney, validating his candidacy.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:31.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Lloyd Gillings is our guest. He's the man running as the independent candidate in Trelawney, in South Trelawney, where Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert has returned for the JLP from a brief hiatus away from politics. She resigned her role as Speaker of the House and vacated her post as MP, consequent upon the publication of a report from the Integrity Commission regarding her use of a government concession and the vehicle that she used that to buy. And they said that she didn't keep custody of the vehicle in the manner prescribed, and therefore they suggested criminal charges against her. That suggestion was accepted by the Director of Corruption Prosecution at the Integrity Commission, and she has a matter in court dealing with, but she has returned to again carry the JLP standard in South Trelawney. Lloyd Gillings was supposed to be in studio with us. We understand that he's very, very near. The morning traffic held him a little bit. He's journeyed a far way to be here, so we're giving him a little bit of time to get into the studio. But it is necessary for us with his presence here. A lot of us have never been to these parts of South Trelawney. I consider myself well-traveled across the island. I've never set foot in Lorimers, Warsop, Albertown, Ulster Spring, Sherwood, Content, Wakefield. Of course, I've been to Falmouth, Martha Brae, like most people. But yeah, those places. So he knows the lay of land, and we're getting from him what conditions are like for residents of South Trelawney to validate why he wants to improve the conditions that he says exist in the constituency.
Yeah, and Mr. Gillings has been indicating that the call... so we're still going to keep him on the phone lines? Yeah, okay. We're still going to keep Mr. Gillings on the phone. He's back online.
Hello, morning, Lloyd Gillings.
Yes, morning. Yeah.
All right, we were trying to wait for you, but let's crack on. All right. Yeah. So you've settled the water issue. You've said to Jamaica, listening to you, and Jamaicans all over the world, that apart from Lorimers, where Paul Patmore, when he was the councillor and as a businessman, he set up a water system for people to be able to get water directly into their homes. You're saying that where an NWC connection exists to send water directly to taps in people's homes, you're saying that those do not exist in the constituency. So that is settled. Talk to me about the roads in the communities in the constituency now, in detail, as best detail as you can.
Well, the roads is in the communities right now, without fear, as a citizen, not about politics.
Yes.
I'm not talking politics now.
Yes.
As a citizen of Jamaica and of South Trelawney, this is so bad. I cannot find words to describe the way the roads are that bad in South Trelawney right now. And as I said, if you drive from Albertown to Christiana, you have about 5 to 6 breakaway. You know, there's about 6 breakaway there.
Mm-hmm. Christiana in Manchester.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So the road from Albertown to Christiana, which is traveled by a lot of people daily, right?
Right.
Is traversed by a lot of people daily. You're saying that how many breakaways on that road?
We have about 6 breakaways.
All right. You say you can't find words to describe, but that's where we are here to help you. So you're saying that. So is it that the road is just some Baba Green it has a few holes that need patching, or as we'll say in common Jamaican language, Lord Gillings, it broke up, mash up, bad.
Yeah, broke up, mash up, bad. Especially our farm roads. There's a road where the farmer mainly use, we call it Durham Road, the Durham Road.
Mm-hmm.
The Durham Road.
Which division is that?
Huh?
Which division is Durham Road?
That's in the Albertown division.
Albertown. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What happened to that road? Tell me now.
It is not even the donkeys. Not even the donkeys want to walk over there right now.
Mm-hmm. When was the last time you saw any road repair project happening in South Trelawney?
Okay, I saw the movement down in the Sawyers Magani Hall area. That's when you leave Jacksontown coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, for a 5-term member of parliament, you have one main road from Christiana to Jacksontown.
Mm-hmm.
And when you reach the Speaker of the House and you don't get these things done in your constituency, you're not talking to me.
Which is the best piece of road, Lloyd Gillings, you would say, in South Trelawney? If there's any piece of road that you could describe as the best piece of road?
As I said, there's a recent piece that's done in the Magani Hall to Jacksontown area. That piece is okay. So that's recently.
How long is that? About a mile, less than that, more than that, what?
I think it's about 3 to 4 miles.
So you say it's decent?
Right. That part is okay.
All right. But apart from that, everything mash up?
Everything mash up.
All right.
It's bad.
Where in the constituency, most constituencies have somewhere where people can go and get free Wi-Fi, like you go to a community center or you even go to a post office when the office is open during opening hours, or some little common area, communal area where people gather maybe on a Sunday evening or so, and you can get some free Wi-Fi. If you want to do some homework, you can do it. If you want to, even if you want to watch some TikTok and you don't have the data, you go there and you get it. Where in South Trelawney can I get access to free public Wi-Fi?
Okay, you have Wi-Fi in Albertown, you have in St. Vincent, I think you have in one in Dutch Hill, at close to Ulster Spring. I think you have a couple of the Wi-Fi systems set up in and around the community. I think about 4 or 3.
So you would say where access to public Wi-Fi is concerned, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. No, that's not too bad.
All right. So we deal with the roads, we deal with the water, we deal with the Wi-Fi. You say the Wi-Fi is decent. All right, good. Other things now. Let's look at other services, the provision of services to residents. Let's look at garbage collection in South Trelawney. How coordinated is that? Is the garbage collected regularly? And this is more a local government issue, but again, it speaks to the level of governance in the constituency. Talk to me about that.
Well, to be honest, I think the garbage it's an up and down situation. We don't have it all bad one day, and we don't have it all good one day. Which I understand. The garbage is not too bad. We have some here where they can do a much better job, but I wouldn't really say much about the garbage in some areas because it is not a steady bad area.
Yeah.
Like it's all bad.
All right.
But improvement, is always room for improvement.
All right. Tona, put the numbers to you earlier, Lloyd Gillings, to say that, look, you have sat as a representative of the people only once, and that's when you were on the JLP side. Since you left the JLP, you can't win an election. Why is that so?
Well, I wouldn't say I can't win,
But you haven't won any. You haven't won any. Let's put the facts then. You haven't won an election since the JLP, and since the JLP, you've run twice for MP, correct?
Right.
Twice for MP. How many times for councillor? Twice.
Right.
So you do 4 elections: 2 at the local government level, 2 at the big level, at the parliamentary level, and the people have said no. Why have they said no to you?
All right. Let us look at the local government election. As I said, I am the same person that run on the JLP ticket. When I run on the PMP ticket, I bring it down to 70 votes. Now that's become a marginal division. I used to win it big by 600 votes. The last time I lost it by 70. And I don't know, as I said, I raised a couple of issues with the electoral office as it relates to the vote, because I still believe that election should be mine, because at one point they said I was the winner, and then finally they said, oh, you don't win again. So I'm not sure as it relates to the last local government election. But as I said, each time I run, I bring it closer to victory.
So you're getting closer and closer, you say?
Very much so.
All right. But you also told Tona that in South Trelawney, the people vote along strict party lines. So is it that you are converting some of the labor rights to supporters of the PNP, or you're getting your support from elsewhere, people who are independent or had no interest in politics but like you? Tell me.
Well, as I said, there's some people, they can see the work that you put in, they know you as a good person, they appreciate what you're doing, and some people vote for the conscience, some people just vote. I mean, people vote for different reasons. But when you look at it, as you can see the numbers, the last election speak volume to South Trelawney. Normally South Trelawney has been big. If you look at the Warsaw division, we lost it by about 300 a little bit. The Ulster Spring division was about 150 something. The Albertown now is less than 100. It's 70 votes. So if you look at the numbers telling me that I am going up the ladder.
Yeah, 300 and odd votes though at the local government election is a lot of votes. You would agree. 70, I can agree with you that it's relatively tight, but 300 votes in any local election is good enough to separate you from the winner. But anyway, the last day you ran against Mrs. Dalrymple Philibert, you got the numbers again. You fell short by over 4,000 votes.
Well,
that's not close. That doesn't suggest that you're getting close.
Well, as I said, there was a gentleman that was put into the seat.
Yeah.
That it was a good, nice young gentleman, and I think he would do much better than I did in the last time. But in the final leg, 5 days before nomination, he backed out. He backed out of the race. At that time, there's nothing much I could do than just cover for the party.
Understand, but you say that you've been doing better and better over time for the PNP. So why would you be doing better and better and they switch you with another gentleman?
Well, at the time, Paul Patmore, as I said, the water system over there gave him a big boost in the constituency, and he's a popular businessman. Is a good person. I decided that we would throw our support behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So as it relates to that, sometimes you take a break and you allow somebody else to run.
So
nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah, but let me put this squarely to you then, Lloyd. Why is Patmore not running for the PNP here, but you are a committed comrade, but you're running independent? I'm not understanding that. Explain that to me.
All right. It is known that the party, that the People's National Party, take a stand as it relates to a contest in the by-election. We understand that, but in the same breath, when I was about doing my business, and persons called me and said, "Hey, listen, we need to exercise our franchise. It cannot be there's just somebody in the race, and there's nobody there to it's like a dictatorship." As it relates to that, I thought about it, and I talked to a few people in the constituency, a lot of people. There's a lot of calls and say, "Hey, man, I think this is your time." The only thing came to mind that, hey, this is David on the backside of the mountain, take care of his business, and you get the call. I have to answer.
But Lloyd,
answering to the people.
Yeah. But when you had the PNP's machinery behind you, as an upfront PNP candidate, you had the machinery behind you. You fell short. Now you're going into this election as an independent candidate. The PNP machinery is not behind you. Doesn't that compromise your chances of success, Lloyd Gillings?
Well, look at South Chillan, and the Larmas era is the biggest era for the JLP supporter, and they're used to independence. Paul Patmore run there when everybody thinks that, hey, you're just wasting your time.
But Paul Patmore you know that Paul Patmore got a lot of Labour right votes. You know that Paul Patmore, hold on, Lloydie. You know that Paul Patmore got a lot of Labour right votes, especially given the manner of his falling out with the JLP hierarchy and the proximity to nomination with which he crossed the floor to the PNP side. So you know very well that a lot of those votes that Patmore got in Lorimer's to make him the independent candidate and effectively the kingmaker in the parish council, Labourites gave him a lot of that strength. They haven't given anybody from the PNP that strength subsequent to Paul Patmore.
Okay, if you look at the numbers in the South Chillan constituency, it's about 25,000 persons on the voters list. And if you check the levels, half of the people don't vote. So that speaks that a lot of people still not voting.
Right.
And what if
yeah,
history repeats itself?
Yes.
What if?
But Lloyd, again, I'm saying to you, with the PNP support, you fell short. You know our standing is you alone and Jesus. Although you said the power of the Almighty, the power of the Almighty can power you. But I'm just saying. But Lloyd, look at the problem you're in. If you lose this election on November 22, and your record now shows that you're a 5-time loser of elections, 2 at the local government level, and 3 for MP. Your brand is being destroyed, Lloyd, and it compromises your future representation going forward. You don't think?
Well, I understand that. But this is not about me. I'm doing this for the people of South Sudan and the people that supporting me. I believe they are right there, and they don't leave me alone. They never leave me alone.
And these are people on both sides of the party line, both sides of the divide, both JLP and PNP people are supporting you in the constituency?
Yes, people from both sides are supporting me.
Hear you on that.
So I'm not going to say that whoever is supporting me, but, people, you always have your people. But this time, the fact that the MP has left the constituency unprotected and everything, I don't even understand why she's coming back.
Did the PNP ask you to stand as an independent in this contest, Lloyd?
Well, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right.
I have a mind of my own, and not that I'm unruly, but when I see the needs, and I have no doubt that if Patmore did run, I was going to run. He would win this constituency. I have no doubt about it. It's a sure shot.
So if you don't have any doubt that Patmore would have run, why was there doubt sufficient for Patmore not to run?
Well, as you already know, that when the party already make a decision, and we have to respect that.
Okay.
We have to respect the party decision.
All right. My producer says time is up.
Can I ask a final one before we let you go, Mr. Gillings? So does you running now as an independent means that the PNP has expelled you from the party?
Well, I haven't heard anything like that, and I'm not thinking about that at this time because, as I said, the People's National Party put the people first. And that is something that I would take out of the book of the People's National Party. And I would put the people in the South Chilani era first as it relates to me being going forward as a candidate. And as I said, I'm very much confident that this is my time. And if the people really look at the constituency, and I can tell you one thing, I dare Marissa to run a fair election with me. If they run an election and they don't have to pay anybody and buy any vote, they cannot beat me. I can tell you.
All right.
I dare her to do that.
All right, sir. You've spoken for yourself, and you've been heard loud and clear. Thank you this morning, Lloyd Giddings, and we wish you all the best on November 22.
Thank you very much.
Lloyd Giddings, their independent candidate, running in the by-election in South Trelawney, set for November 22.
Listen up, motorists. Speeding burns more gas. So slow down. The life you save may be your own and also that of your loved ones. Slow down. Save lives and money. The time by the Insurance Association of Jamaica is
7:51.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
All I want for Christmas is...
Wait, Chris and Charles has great loans and something extra special this season?
Yes, we're spreading joy to everyone. Starting November 1st, 2024, get a low interest rate Christmas loan and a special reward just for you.
Call 876-926-0609
or visit our website for details. Better hurry, conditions apply. Stocks are limited. Promotion ends December 23rd, 2024. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
I move too fast, didn't I? All right. Back with us. The Assistant Commissioner of Indicom, Hamish Campbell, says there is still significant pushback within the ranks of the JCF against the use of body-worn cameras. He says there remains some discomfort with oversight at the rank-and-file level of the JCF. He's expressing fears that the country is on track, Indicom is expressing fears rather, that the country is on track to see the most people killed by the security forces in more than a decade. He's speaking of 2024. And he says body-worn cameras are sometimes not activated during specialized operations by the police. JFJ have said some things about body-worn cameras in the recent past. There was an article on the weekend from the executive director of the JFJ, Michael Jackson, speaking to this same issue, and she joins us this morning. Good morning, executive director of the JFJ, Michael Jackson.
Good morning, Judge, Tana, and your listeners. Happy to be here.
Good. Thank you for being here. Based on your reading and based on your assessment of the JCF's attitude and posture towards using body-worn cameras and the data that Indicom has compiled, your considered perspective on the JCF's use of this tool, what is that?
You know, I think we have to first put in perspective for the listeners that this conversation, the policy framework, it has been happening for over a decade. So several administrations have invested millions of dollars in taxpayers' money, as well as donations that we have received from agencies such as the United States government. Now, some of the, let me say, excuses that we have heard over time, for example, the item not fitting well on the uniforms, defectiveness. At one point, the U.S. government at the embassy had to come out and say, no, what you're saying is not in alignment with what we have provided. So the excuses have varied over the years. Most recently, we heard from the commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake, that there needs to be improvement in the IT infrastructure, and that may very well be so. But the concern that we have is that no timeline was offered by Dr. Blake. I also have to put in perspective for the listeners that you already have body-worn cameras that have been deployed across 18 divisions. The question is, if you have body-worn cameras deployed, already placed on police officers, why are we not receiving footage from them? And at this point, to be told that officers decide not to turn on the cameras, it's inexcusable, and I think it is intolerable. And as a society, again, no matter our position that the crime rate is high, we should never go into a situation where we're saying that, listen, police accountability does not apply in this particular context, because once you come in contact with law enforcement, you must be killed, and it is okay for you to be killed. And it is okay that we don't have any independent footage of what may have happened. That will also be to the benefit of police officers who are saying that, listen, I am not guilty of what I'm accused of. I did nothing wrong. I acted in self-defense. Here is the independent footage, evidence to support my claim that this particular accusation is not correct.
So is it your view then, Michael Jackson, that the police to whom the body cameras are given across the formations that they're deployed, is it that they're breaking the rules or disregarding orders from the top, or is it that clear orders are not sent from the top with attendant sanctions if the body cameras are not deployed during operations?
Well, when you read the standard operating procedures, it certainly suggests that there is some discretion. And by the way, it's an improvement to the earlier iteration of 2017. The challenge also with the SOP, outside of the suggestion that there's some discretion to turn on and off, is that there are no clear indication what the disciplinary actions are if you breach. And again, let me put in context. I've had the opportunity to speak with several police chiefs in states such as Philadelphia, Las Vegas, and so on. And if it is that you do not activate your camera, they spell out clearly where you and I could go on their website and know exactly that these are the disciplinary actions that will be undertaken if an officer decides not to turn on. And it could be a case where it moves from fine, you being sent home, to possibility terms of imprisonment. That is the kind of accountability system that varies across the states in the United States. And we're saying at this point, the SOP would need some revision, because I don't think we can have millions of dollars spent. And again, when we look at the increasing numbers of police fatal shootings, it is suggesting that we're going to be seeing the highest that we've had in a decade. The last time I checked the data, as of November 6th on the Indicom website, the data was suggesting that we are at, and speaking from memory here, George, if you could help me out, that we were at about 152, thereabout. And remember, over the weekend alone, you saw another 3 fatalities in one incident, and there was another one. So since November 6th, I don't know what the increasing numbers are. But based on the trajectory, the projection, we're going to be having the numbers of 2017 of 168, more than likely.
The SOPs you speak of, these SOPs, are they set down by the High Command, or they're crafted and issued by divisional commanders?
The High Command had set that particular SOP, and I believe agencies, JFJ had offered some comments in the past, as well as Indicom.
So the wearing of body cameras, then, would it be fair to say that in your view, it is a discretionary exercise rather than a mandatory thing that carries with it sanctions if not obeyed?
That is my view, and JFJ has been very consistent in our call that it ought to be mandatory. Because we're talking about police fatal shootings, George, and I quickly want to point out that we've also seen increased numbers in police abuse, especially since the passage of the Road Traffic Act. So when you have those situations where police are interacting daily with citizens and you're not having any footage, and then you're forced to be asking somebody, a bystander, to pull out your cell phone and so on, and the police officers themselves are relying on cell phone footage, that cannot be tolerated. It cannot be. So I think we have to say to the High Command, to the legislator, to make the use of body-worn cameras mandatory. And that is why the comment from the Minister of National Security is quite concerning, because one reasonably have to ask the question, is that posture of the National Security Minister reflective of the government's position on the issue? And is that posture partially the reason for us not seeing the effective and full rollout of the body-worn cameras?
Hear you on that, Michaela. We've run out of time. We started late, but apologies for that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice, Michael Jackson, putting on record and reinforcing JFJ's position on body-worn cameras, calling on the Police High Command to do better, to set down clear guidelines for use, and so that the rank and file members know that there's a penalty. She says body-worn cameras should not be a mandatory thing. It should be a standard part of how police personnel operate when they go out and interact with the public. We'll hear your views later on. More on this later.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Let Scotia Investments guide you towards a winning portfolio that will grow your wealth for generations to come. Call 888-429-5745 to learn more. The time by Scotia Investments is
8:01.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us, is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
In across Jamaica this Tuesday morning, the government is soon to establish a national drug research network comprising academia and technical experts. The body is intended to tackle drug use in the island. That's according to the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton. He says the network will go beyond prevalence studies and will delve deeply into drug use, particularly at the high-risk areas or in the high-risk areas and groups. Minister Tufton says sustained public education campaigns will also be rolled out to increase awareness on services offered, as well as to help people to understand the implications of drug abuse. He made the announcement at the press launch of the 2023 National Drug Prevalence Survey at the Terra Nova All Suite Hotel in St. Andrew on Monday. Jamaica has won the Henry C. Smith Award for the most improved immunization coverage in 2023. The award was announced at the 38th Caribbean Expanded Program on Immunization EPI Managers Meeting held in St. Kitts and Nevis recently. Data from the Ministry of Health and Wellness show that in 2023, immunization coverage for the vaccines given to infants under 1 year old increased to over 99% post-pandemic. Those vaccines are BCG, polio, and pentavalent. They also show improvements in the vaccine given in the second year of life, MMR, with 92% for the first dose and 89% for the second. The ministry says the award is evidence that its immunization teams at the facility, parish, regional, and national levels are committed and resilient. It says it remains focused on achieving the target of 95% vaccination coverage. The EPI managers meeting was held from October 28 to 30. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Tuesday morning, and we now bring you the latest from across the Caribbean News Desk for today, Tuesday, November 12, 2024.
From the Caribbean News Desk, the morning edition. Good morning. I'm Kendall Morgan.
And I'm Dennis Chabot with the latest from across the Caribbean.
As the gang violence continues in Haiti, a flight from the U.S. to the Haitian capital yesterday was reportedly hit by what appears to be gang-related gunfire and forced to divert to the neighboring Dominican Republic. Officials say only one minor injury was reported on this Spirit Airlines flight. Yesterday's incident occurred just hours before new Haitian Prime Minister Alex Amy was sworn in to replace the fired Gary Conille. Conille was fired over deep differences with the ruling Transitional Presidential Council. The new Prime Minister says his first step will be to restore security across Haiti.
Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarcetta says opposition attacks on the sale of citizenship are aimed at removing his Labour Party from office. Addressing the opening of the Dominican Labour Party's Delegates Conference, he expressed confidence in winning a High Court case that challenges the Citizenship by Investment CBI program that earns the country millions of dollars annually. He says the CBI program is strong, but the opposition is on a campaign to create fear so that the social sector and infrastructure projects will collapse and lead to his party losing the elections.
These people are only interested and concerned with power and not the people of Dominica. So they'll destroy you to get into power. That's what it is. Because their hope is that if they destroy the CBI, no more housing, no more roads, no more small business support, no more NEP, no more Yes We Care, the government will lose. And they'll come into government. They're prepared to lose their entire soul and to destroy the soul and the fabric of our nation to gain power.
The British Virgin Islands will be negotiating a new constitution in 2025. The disclosure from Premier Natalio Wheatley in his national budget presentation yesterday. He said there will be a parliamentary debate early in the new year on a constitution review report and the appointment of a negotiating team.
Madam Speaker, in 2025 we'll be celebrating 75 years since the restoration of our legislature. And by sheer coincidence, it will also be the year we will be negotiating our new constitution. In the first quarter of 2025, Madam Speaker, we will debate the constitutional review report in this Honorable House and appoint a negotiating team. The changes we are implementing, Madam Speaker, will position us for greater autonomy and solid confidence in local governance, two key building blocks of success. in building a sustainable Virgin Islands.
The British Virgin Islands are a UK overseas territory, with the British-appointed governor performing the role of chief executive officer. The premier is elected by the majority party in the House of Assembly and then appointed by the governor to lead the cabinet.
Belize is enacting legislation to allow small businesses to use movable property as collateral to acquire loans. Senator Eamon Courtney says this will help small businesses to operate with certainty. Speaking in the Senate, Mr. Courtney was upset that opposition Senator Glenfield Dennison frowned at the legislation because it was adopted from Kenya.
This is designed to assist people to access credit, to stimulate the economy and to create jobs, not to allow people to come and pretend that they're grandstanding and that they have some genuine objection. How can you in 2024 stand up and say, come from Kenya, so something wrong with it? The country in Africa that perhaps has the biggest medium, small, micro enterprise system in Africa, the most internet banking in Africa. No, but if you may come from England, from the white people, we may jump and joy. Oh, great, wonderful. But you come from Africa, what kind of utter nonsense is that?
As the political infighting continues in Belize's main opposition, United Democratic Party UDP, the High Court has ruled on which of the warring factions should have possession of the party's headquarters, which houses the party's secretariat, radio station, and newspaper. A group in the party which has been trying to oust party leader Shine Barrow took possession of the headquarters last month, but Barrow, through his attorney Emmanuel Williams, successfully reclaimed possession through the High Court.
The court emphasized the fact that it is important for parties, if they wish to undertake any repossession or dispossession of property, to pursue a court order. The practical effect is that the court order takes effect immediately. Therefore, the applicants, Mr. Barrow and his colleagues, can attend to the UDP headquarters and repossess the property.
This has been the morning edition from the Caribbean News Desk. You may contact us by phone or WhatsApp at +592 700 9293. Thanks for listening.
So where you get?
The new Popeye's blackened chicken sandwich, my girl. The flavor just hits different.
Blackened like it burn up?
Nah, man. Blackened because of the color of the Louisiana herbs and spices. Blackened like the flavor buck. No breading and the seasoning soaked deep in the chicken. But get yours and try it, cause me nah share yours. Get the new Popeye's blackened chicken sandwich. Limited time only.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Horton's RX, the caring pharmacy, the Yes We Can pharmacy, the Yes It's in Stock pharmacy, the House Call Delivery pharmacy, the RX Pack mobile app pharmacy, the RX Plus digital wallet pharmacy, the 20% reward pharmacy, the easy to remember number pharmacy, 876 RX0 RX, the easy access 24/7 pharmacy, Horton's RX, the convenient pharmacy, #wellness, #simply delivered.
Shop and win a mega kitchen from Megamart. Spend $6,000 or more before GCT at any Megamart location and fill out the entry form provided for a chance to win a brand new stove, fridge, and microwave this Christmas from Appliance Traders Limited. Visit us on social media to win monthly prizes courtesy of Lasco, Grace Foods, and Facey Commodity Company Limited. Promotion runs from September 30 to December 6th. Shop now to win a mega kitchen from Megamart. The best value by far. Conditions apply. Must be 18 years or older to enter. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Quality Talks is brought to you by Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. It's now that time of a Tuesday morning. We turn our attention to the Quality Talks feature. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica, BSJ, is a statutory body established by the Standards Act of 1969 to promote and encourage standardization in relation to commodities, processes, and practices. However, over the years, its role has expanded to include the provision of services in relation to conformity assessment, that certification, testing and calibration, and metrology. Its main activities include facilitating the development of standards and other requirements to which particular commodities, services, practices, and processes must comply, conducting tests and calibrating instruments, certifying products and management systems, providing industrial training, and promoting research and education standardization. The Quality Talks program has been highlighting the services offered by the agency. We're now joined by Manager of Communication and Customer Service at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, Maxine Fagan. Good morning to you, Maxine.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. How are you?
I am well, thanks.
All right. So if you could tell us what the Quality Talks program is all about and why it was launched.
Okay, great. So, and good morning again to you and to your listeners. So the Quality Talks program is really about raising awareness, educating the public, and to showcase BSJ's extensive range of services which support businesses seeking to meet local and international standards, and of course producing a quality product or service. We have sought to, in having this program, change the narrative surrounding the perception of the Bureau of Standards Jamaica from being seen as a regulator to being recognized as a key partner and a facilitator of industry growth and development. Mm-hmm. So the program really is aimed at generally highlighting the BSJ's role in Jamaica's national quality infrastructure and to underscore the importance of quality and the standards in the success of businesses across varying sectors. And we've been hearing over the past few weeks from our team members who have given insights into specific services and how the BSJ supports businesses generally.
Mm-hmm. And if you mind to share what they have been saying?
Okay, so we've given, we have a myriad of services. We have actually over 200 lab services, but just to give a general overview of our services. So we have, of course, our lab testing services. We have our analytical testing services, such as our microbiological and chemical tests. We have packaging services, product testing. So we test construction materials, appliances, electronics. So essentially, persons want to have that assurance in terms of their product's quality and consistency. We have our calibration services or measurement services. And calibration really, what it does, it checks the accuracy of devices. So we calibrate instruments such as thermometers, scales, balances, and many other devices. We also provide industry training. We have our consultation services, which gives insight into understanding and interpreting standards. And we also have our client/industry support services. So just to mention one of them, which I bet many persons out there may not realize that we actually provide this service. So the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, we are actually World Trade Organization inquiry point. So business operators wanting information as it relates to requirements to enter international markets. They may information to enter, etc., may be had here at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. So, for example, they may want to enter the United States. It's very close. It's right next door. And, of course, there are certain requirements. So if they are going to be thinking about exporting a food item, for example, there are requirements of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. So we have a unit, a branch, which is our Food Safety Modernization branch. And that unit essentially, all you need to know as it relates to barriers to trade, entry requirements, that sort of information may be had here at the BSJ.
And if you could stay in that vein, Maxine, and talk to us about how the BSJ works with the local businesses to enhance their product quality in ensuring that they'll be able to access and be successful on those global markets as well.
Yes, indeed. So mentioned some of the services earlier. We also have our consultation service. We actually had a program that was dedicated to giving insight into our client services program. So it's free consultation services. If you were to pay for that service in the public sector, you would run into hundreds of thousands of dollars. But we offer that service here at the BSA free of cost, where we engage with business operators, review their operations. If there are gaps identified, we make recommendations to fill those gaps. And if it is that in filling those gaps, once we have done our assessment, if the solution does not lie within the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, then we make recommendations, and we can also point or, other business support organizations that we have MOUs, and we have the information. So if a solution does not reside within the BSJ, then we make recommendations to other business support organizations.
Yes.
And we have our training arm, which is the Quality Institute. We had a program dedicated to that as well. And the training arm, BSJ's Quality Institute, really seeks to strengthen employee competence, increase operational efficiency, and generally build capacity for sustainable growth and development. And they have a myriad of training solutions. For example, there's a training course called Good Manufacturing Practices, Product Formulation, just to name a few. And courses, of course, may be customized depending on the need of the client or the particular industry.
For somebody who is listening, Maxine, and they're interested in that consultation to help their business do better, how do they go about that?
Okay, so we have our website that persons may visit, and we have a listing of the services there, and it's www.bsj.org.jm. And I just want to leave a general message to the listening public as we, in seeking to execute this program. So we really want Jamaica to recognize that the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, we are your national standards body. We are no longer a regulator. We are a facilitator. We want you to recognize that you have a resource in the BSJ that you may tap into along your journey at any stage of your business journey. We want you to consider us as a quality assurance partner, of course, in our current role as facilitator. I'll just say to them that what we are facilitating, you producing a quality product or service. We are facilitating operational efficiency, and we are facilitating market access and exports, and ultimately we are facilitating business success.
Maxine Fagan, Manager of Communication and Customer Service at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, under the Quality Talks program, talking to us this morning about the program and so much more. If it is your business out there, you need the expertise of the Bureau of Standards, their numbers, their website. You can reach out to them, set up a consultation, and ensure that the BSJ comes in and assists you with your business or points you in the direction where you can be assisted. Maxine, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, going to take a break and come back with more.
Quality Talks was brought to you by Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A pure water would drink. The time by Pure Water is
8:21.
Data Protection Matters is brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
Welcome to another episode of Data Protection Matters, powered by Design Privacy here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm your host, Chantal Thompson. Today we have with us Chuck Cameron, founder of Design Privacy and a data privacy expert. Welcome, Chuck.
Hi, Chantal.
How are you?
Great, and yourself?
Not bad. So, on this episode, we will be continuing the conversation on tools a DPO needs to be effective in their role. So, Chuck will be continuing the conversation on conducting a gap analysis, and then he would dive into conducting a DPIA. Chuck, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Chantal. In having this conversation, I do want to start getting some feedback from our listeners. I want to know what pain points are they having? What would they like us to address? Is the information that we're sharing solving real problems that they are having? Because that's the only purpose for this show, is to really help persons who have the responsibility of implementing a privacy framework understand what it is they're supposed to be doing. So don't hesitate to communicate with us in the YouTube chat or reach out to us at the CEO at designprivacy.io or any of our social media handles that Chantal would share with you. So going back to our last episode where we walked you through how to conduct your gap analysis. Having generated the gap analysis, we find that three things for the most part. These recommendations would usually be left sitting on a table, on a shelf somewhere, or if persons treat with it, they are overwhelmed with all the recommendations that have been given. And finally, they just don't know where to start if it is they want to adopt the recommendations. So the recommendations generated by the gap analysis really should form the roadmap for the first year to 2 years of your compliance program, because it would identify a number of gaps, non-conformities, and risks. And remember, these would be gaps and non-conformities against the Data Protection Act, fundamental rights and freedoms that data subjects enjoy, and ISO 27001. So the recommendations would say these are all the things that you need to put in place. Those recommendations, once generated, should be presented to the board, because this would represent the scope of work that needs to be done to bring your organization into a state of compliance. Let's be very clear, that is outside of setting up the framework elements of your data protection framework that the law legislates. These are just elements that you do not have in place. Having presented this roadmap to the board and senior management, you do want to identify, well, firstly, structure. Which gaps are you going to choose to treat with first in terms of priority? You do want to be thinking what recommendations would have the highest impact and the easiest to implement. So you want to set up some sort of mechanism where you say, okay, you know what, if we treat with this one first, we see where it would have the highest impact. So don't only look at what's the easiest one to do. We want to balance highest impact and easiest to implement. And so you'd structure all of those activities in that order. Having done that, it's critical that you assign an owner for each activity. In addition to assigning an owner for each activity, you do want to establish or get from that owner, when is this job going to get done? So you have your prioritized activity, you have the owner of that activity, and you have a time which it will be completed by. That is how the board or senior management can now start monitoring your program and the health of your data protection program, because you have someone accountable and you have a time frame in which this activity is to be completed. So on your weekly or monthly meetings, senior management can just at a very high level ask, okay, Chantal, we are now 30 days into your 2-month exercise. Where are you?
Right.
And you can treat all the activities like that, and you'd have a roadmap for the next 2 years. Something like that can translate into a dashboard for your board, so that at a very high level know what activities are in train and where completion is, and they would know when we are out of time and when we are in time, and when we are out of budget and in budget. It also serves as a cash flow management tool when you have your roadmap clearly mapped out in that manner.
Right.
So taking us back to last episode, we understand what a gap analysis is. We understand the framework in which you conduct a gap analysis. We shared with you tools that you can use to complete your gap analysis and the reference material that you would use to generate your recommendations. And now we have shared with you how it is you treat with the recommendations. It is not something to be completed within a week, within a month.
How long does it usually take?
Dependent on the size of the organization. Enterprise organization, it could easily take upwards of 2 years. For a small organization with a focus team, you can do it in 2 months.
Okay.
So it does depend on the size of the organization, and it would also depend on the number of gaps that exist.
Okay.
The reality is that we're starting from scratch, so the likelihood is that you'll have to implement everything. Having completed the gap analysis, I want us to start thinking about and addressing our minds to our data protection impact assessment.
Right.
That's a fundamental piece of our privacy framework. If you have been following us over these past episodes, you would understand that at the center of data protection is our data subject. At the center of the Data Protection Act is you and me, and how are our rights protected? How are we protected from being exposed to any damage as a result of persons using our personal data? That is what the entire framework is all about. That is the reason why our constitutional court declared that we have a right to informational privacy, to ensure that third parties don't abuse our personal data and expose us to harm. Now, the data protection impact assessment is that actual tool that allows an organization to proactively put measures in place to minimize the risk that persons are exposed to by processing their personal data. That data protection impact assessment is also mandated by Section 45 of the law. In thinking about implementing your data protection program and what role or responsibility you have in this rollout, and when I speak to you, at this stage I'm speaking to data controllers, boards of data controllers, persons, the senior management of data controllers. What role do you play in protecting data subjects, and how do you do it? One, ensure that you have rolled out your framework. That's the easy part. You can tell somebody to do that. But you now have the responsibility of ensuring you conduct a data protection impact assessment for your high-risk processing activities. In our next episode, we are going to start breaking down what that data protection impact assessment looks like. But suffice it to say, a data protection impact assessment is that tool that all boards should understand and all boards should require before you think about implementing a new process. So in the same way you're going to make a big investment in a CRM or an accounting software, before you make that acquisition, you should be asking for the DPIA.
All right, and that brings us to the end of this episode. Very insightful as usual. As Chuck mentioned, join us next time as we continue our discussion on conducting a DPIA. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at design_privacy, and also connect with us on LinkedIn at Design Privacy. Stay informed and stay secure.
Data Protection Matters was brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
Here at Aslan Supercenter, you can fill your Christmas list.
It's 6 weeks till Christmas, and Aslan Supercenter has everything you need to start your shopping now. Choose from a wide selection of decorations, lights, and Christmas trees. Beat the rush and pick up all your Christmas gifts in comfort and style. And don't forget to stop by this Friday and Saturday for our 2-day flash sale.
So this Christmas, make it Aslan Supercenter for sure.
It's a lifestyle.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
A healthier you is brought to you by Express Fitness. Your goal or mission, Horton's Pharmacy, a family tradition of dispensing and caring for 100 years.
And Pharma Cold and Flu, distributed by Massey Distribution.
.8:33 on the clock. Time for a month to check in with our friends from Horton's Pharmacy for a healthier you. And this morning we'll get some nutritional advice for the vulnerable. We'll get some nutritional advice for the vulnerable from the chief pharmacist at Horton's, Stafford Horton. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, George. Good morning to all the staff at Nationwide, and good morning to our listeners and YouTube connections.
Excellent, sir. All right, nutritional advice for the for the vulnerable. Let's start the ball rolling. What are you here to tell us this morning?
Okay, first of all, we have the privilege of life. In this wide, endless universe, planet Earth is the only universal body that is proven to have life. From the small ant to the fishes in the oceans, to the human race, we the people, we are all examples of life. Give thanks and respect it.
Yes.
And as we respect life and take responsibility for life, the quality of life we live is not only important, it is vital. Therefore, it is important to understand, as a part of living a useful, comfortable life, is how we nourish our body. Of course, besides the food we consume, rest and recreation are both important. Now, our listeners may need to get a pencil or a pen to write some things down. So I'm going to give some names of some vitamins, and they need to write them down if they care. So
yes.
Get a pen and pencil, ladies and gentlemen, listeners. This morning, Horton's RX, the convenient pharmacy, will share information on micronutrient supplements for healthy living. Micronutrient supplements comprise vitamins and minerals. Some are water soluble and some are fat soluble. Some are absorbed through the bloodstream, some are absorbed through our tissues. We begin with healthy meals and a balanced diet, especially pregnant women. And when the baby is born, if the mother is able, breastfeeding is vital.
Yes.
I'm going to list the important micronutrients slowly. And in case our listeners need to write them down, these are the important micronutrients. Vitamin A, B1, B6,
yes,
B12,
yes,
vitamin D3, vitamin E, which is an antioxidant, vitamin K, folic acid, which is also called vitamin B9. The minerals are iodine for thyroid balance, chromium, which helps diabetics, iron, which helps to improve our hemoglobin, our blood count, red blood cell count, magnesium, zinc, calcium for bone health, selenium, copper, carotene, and manganese. Now, persons who are diabetic and who take metformin should take regular courses of folic acid. You don't have to take it every day,
Yes.
but you should take it at least every other month or every 2 months to keep the folic acid up in their diet. The diabetics on metformin. Epileptics, that's people who have seizures, who are on carbamazepine, which is Tegretol, that's the brand name, need also to take regular courses of folic acid. Patients who are anemic with a low blood count, and when I say a low blood count, it's a hemoglobin below 12. They need to take regular iron. And in pharmacy, there are modern iron preparations which do not cause constipation. So ask your pharmacist to recommend those for you. So there are some persons who suffer constipation from iron.
Yeah, I was always told that as a little boy, Sir Stafford, that once you do that, then you're gonna bind up, as country people say.
Yes. Well, they have the modern irons don't cause constipation, but ask your pharmacy for that type of formula.
Yeah, man.
Also, some persons who do not have regular bowel movements, who are constipated, should avoid mineral oil as a regular laxative. It is not good to take mineral oil too often. So, in summary, prevent is better than cure. Micronutrient supplements are crucial for a healthy life. Your pharmacist can guide and advise you if you have questions.
Yes.
Remember, healthy meals and a balanced diet. Drink plenty water and manage your budget. Some persons are not able to take monthly supplements. Therefore, plan to take nutritional supplements regularly.
Yes.
As much as your budget can afford. If you have a deficiency, like low hemoglobin, iron, poor bone health, calcium. If ladies are pregnant, prenatal supplements are important. Also, regular usage is recommended. It's not an everyday thing because of certain persons can't afford every day.
Yes.
But regular consideration of adding these micronutrient supplements in your diet is important.
Yes.
So, in closing, Horton's RX, the Carnelian Pharmacy, we are located at 29 to 31 Caledonia Road, Mandeville. We open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We have our mobile app, RX Pack, and available free in the App Store or the Google Play Store. It has many payment options and several delivery options. It gives access to our pharmacy on a 24/7 basis. Our telephone number is 876-790-7979. And our byline is wellness, simply delivered everywhere.
Yeah. Two quick things before you run, Sir Stafford. I'm just getting a message here from a listener who says, ask Stafford Horton what I can take to strengthen my knee, like when my knee feel kind of weak as I get older. What would they recommend over the counter at Horton's Pharmacy as a supplement to improve my knee strength? I don't know if you can take that one on.
Yes, man, sure. Certainly calcium is important, and also there's a product called Cartisafe, which is a combination of calcium with chondroitin and glucosamine. Anything with chondroitin and glucosamine helps to rebuild the cartilage in your knee.
Yes.
Because you know what we call gristle?
Yeah, man, the gristle, yeah, man.
Right, that is the cartilage.
Yes.
We have the cartilage on our, on all the organs in the body that articulate, like our arms, our hips, our knees, and the cartilage gets worn out as we get older. And the two products to rebuild the cartilage are chondroitin and glucosamine. And the product we recommend is Cartisafe.
Very well. The other one is someone in the YouTube chat asked about the benefits of having copper in your diet.
Well, that's not vital, but you can buy supplements with copper, and it just adds to the supplements of the micronutrients. Copper helps with the skin tone, and the immune system.
Very well. Very well. All right. Thank you this morning, sir.
Okay.
As per usual.
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, man. You and the staff at Horton's Pharmacy, all the best to you.
Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye.
Good. Horton's Pharmacy. Family pharmacy. Big on family. And, they treat you, the customers, like family as well. You're not customers after a while, you're family. All right? So a healthier you there. Stafford Horton's Pharmacy with nutritional tips for people of all ages, especially those who are older and more vulnerable.
A healthier you was brought to you by Express Fitness. Your goal or mission, Horton's Pharmacy, a family tradition of dispensing and caring for 100 years.
And Pharma Cold and Flu, distributed by Massey Distribution.
So they say a caller called this morning and his name is Carl. Good morning, Carl.
Morning, Master George.
Yes, sir.
Master George, I want to ask Jackson if she would prefer, because she said the last time she counted it was 155 and 3 over the weekend. If she'd have liked to see the state, people fire after the state and then throw down in the ground on the street side, which one she would have preferred?
Go again. I don't quite get you.
Jackson said this morning that when she count how much people police and killed since the start of the year was 155 plus 3 Saturday night.
Yes.
We'd like to ask Jackson if she knows say the police is the state of the country. Also, me, you, all of who work on nationwide is the state. When a person fire after a police, is the state then fire after. Now, so, Master George?
Correct.
I want to say it to Jackson. At the during time in slaughter, how much of a Rockfort, which one Jackson would have preferred? If she did hear, say, at the police and go up and kill some gunman, Jackson would be all over the place with it. But the gunman, them slaughter them gunman, or whatsoever.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But Carl, hold on now. That's the role of Jamaicans for justice, is where the state and its agents act in a manner outside of their powers, or the state and its agents treats citizens in a less than desirable manner, where their rights are flouted and in many respects their rights are not respected. They represent them, they advocate for their treatment to be normal. So I've heard this argument several times, and I wonder why people come with it. And it's because people like us don't tell them. Hold on, Carl. Yeah, man. So I'm saying, if 5 people are shot and killed in Rockfort while they're watching a football match, as happened in Pleasant Heights, formerly Warwick Hills, you wouldn't expect JFJ to come and issue a statement about that, because that's not JFJ's role. JFJ didn't say that it will speak and advocate on everything. It says it will speak and advocate on behalf of those persons who, when they come into contact with the state or its agents, get a raw deal, especially where their rights are concerned. That's the narrow group of people, Carl, that JFJ sees about their affairs.
Yeah, but how you know, say, George? How you know, say?
Yeah.
The police them now within the rights. Me now, you know, Jackson doesn't know that.
No, man, but we never said that, and I'm saying, but what I'm trying to say now is that what your criticism of JFJ would be perhaps better guided if you take note of what I've just explained. JFJ's role is.
I understand you fully.
Okay.
I understand, but Master George, you see, me can't take the one-sided from Jackson, and that's the problem with me.
Carl is not one-sided. But Carl is not one-sided.
Yes, George.
No,
George,
Carl.
George, when the people them kill the police, Jackson doesn't say nothing.
No, man.
Police is human being to the judge.
Yes, but Carl,
human being, they have a family.
Carl, it would be easy for me to say the same thing with you, because my father was a policeman and my brother and my people. But I'm not saying that. You know why, Carl? Because I understand what JFJ's role is, and it is because.
Well, George, them rule is George.
Carl,
doesn't make any sense, George.
Carl, you are a sensible man.
Are taking up for the person.
No, man.
make some of us uncomfortable.
No, man, but Carl, you're a sensible man and you are very astute. I'm saying to you, just pause the man, breathe and listen to what I say. Jamaicans for Justice and their role is. You see, if you accept that, then you look at what their utterances are in a different way. That's all I'm saying. But the time gone, Carl. I'll have to do some birthday, you know. But thank you for the contribution this morning.
I never see you at a restaurant on Mobile Friday night.
Mobile. Oh, yeah. I'm going to recalibrate, Carl. I'm going to recalibrate. All right, cool.
Down that way Friday night, I look at me see you.
Enough light down there, true. The place bright, eh?
Don't get nice.
Down there pretty, yeah man.
Don't get nice, man.
Spirits Expressions Lounge. Good morning to the gentleman who runs Spirits Expressions. Yeah, big up yourself, Jeffrey. All right, Jeffrey hype.
Make a plan to stay on top of your mortgage. Stick to it. Pay on time. The time by the NHD is
8:48.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
I have so much to say, but in the least most simple way, I love you. Ooh. I have so much to share, and so to show you how I care, I thank you. Ooh. I just wanna say thank you for the many things you've done, for having faith in me more than anyone. And when people would have bad things to say and try to tear me down in the worst possible way, honey, you stood right by me, and that's how love is supposed to be. I just wanna say thank you for the many things you've done. Wanna say thank you for the many things you've done. La 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 da 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 da. I have so much to give, so for as long as I shall live, I love you. Ooh. I have so much to do, just to prove my love is true, 'cause I thank you.
I was talking like this one, eh? This one was done and released in 1979 by the lady Betty Wright. Yes, on the album Traveling in the Right Circle. This is Desmond. Morning, me. Hey, me I talk so. Me I talk when you shoot them past Sunday, no. I want to say good morning. So, Miss Beryl Palmer, yeah, the mother of Jermaine King. Yeah, boy, Miss Beryl, we know you got through. You know what? We know you got through. But that's why on birthdays we have to say thank you for the many, many things you've done, because it might have problem this a one boy like you. Yet you're here. So Miss Beryl, Jermaine King's mother, today is her birthday. Yes, up there in Red Hills. Yeah. Thank you for the many things you've done, and happy birthday to you, Miss Palmer.
Happy birthday to you. The greetings are also coming from your daughter-in-law, Patrice. Your other children, Stephanie, Cassandra, Dwight, your enough grandchildren, and your great-grandkids. They're saying to you, we love you and wish you all the best on your special day.
So remember, I told you once that, people came to my yard and asked my granny, said, boy, so how the boy? And my granny said, so what? My granny said, boy, one boy, I give me some problem. I can imagine Miss Beryl saying the same thing about Jeremy. Well, one boy give me some problem. Jeremy and that.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Happy birthday to you, Mrs. Beryl. Hope you have an amazing one.
It's true, 'cause I thank you. Lord knows I was headed downhill until you came along. Now suddenly life is a song. This happy song I just love to sing.
Some more birthdays. P.S. Ray sending happy birthday greetings to firstborn Janie Panton, is it, or Janie Panton, who celebrates her birthday today. Coming from mom, dad, your brother, and your sister, and your 3-year-old son. Happy birthday to you, Janie or Janie Panton. Happy birthday greetings also going out to Tamika from your Uncle Vaughn. He wants to appreciate her for flying in to visit him while he was sick. Aww. Happy birthday to you, Tamika,
Nice.
and good stuff looking out for your uncle. Happy birthday greetings as well. A special one to Miss Elriata Henry of Devon Penn Junction in St. Mary. 100 years old today. Yeah, absolutely deserves a round of applause.
Man. Yeah, man.
Happy birthday to you, Miss Arietta. Greetings coming from Orville and the family. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well going out to Doreen Dixon, Dave Lewis. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well to Sophia Bogle, Shane R. Grant, Dilly Parchment, Renee Wong, Kanisa Douglas, Sachel Ellis, Paula Moss. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Hope you have a really good one as well. Going back over to the YouTube chat.
Rupert Wilson, let me do this one while you find your bearings, Tana. He says, happy first wedding anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Dawkins from Morant Bay, my daughter and son. I love you both. So Rupert Wilson sending happy first wedding anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Dawkins from Morant Bay in St. Thomas. He says, my daughter and son, I love you both.
Those are all the birthdays.
I think there was one. Let me find another one for you. There was happy birthday to. Oh, that was news commentator saying something. You're a Janie already, right?
I did.
Here's
another. Rebecca sending happy birthday greetings. She says to my sister, Shakira. Is this aka Chuku Life?
Chuku, yeah. You know, a long time you know what name Chuku. Yeah. Hi, Chuku.
Oh, Chuku,
Yeah,
right. Shakira,
Chuku.
aka Chuku. And then she says, life would lose so much of its color without her in my life. Here's to more laughter, dreams, and years of growing wiser together. So Shakira, aka Chuku, happy birthday to you from your sister, Rebecca.
So King, pull up Miss Beryl tune and start it again, the man show. Alessandro Capper says, happy birthday to me, Alessandro. So Alessandro Capper sending happy birthday greetings to himself. So Alessandro, happy birthday on this day.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
Wrapped in a love that's true, I make my home in your arms. You see, I live for you, and nothing can compare to what we share. We're in a world of our own, so much love is there. See, baby, you are my life. To live without you, I wouldn't try. What would I be without you? Let me make this toast to you. You're what I celebrate. You're like a never-ending holiday. You're my forever special
Occasion. Jesus, peace. Hey, see, could I sing? Any old God is blessed with the ability to sing. Murderers. What is that?
You're like a never-ending holiday. You're my
Come on, any home we could have sing, man. They couldn't stop me. They couldn't stop me.
Right. It's Tevin Campbell's birthday.
Anyway.
So.
In the for your own.
Last night I saw you standing and I started pretending I knew you.
Did you say happy birthday to Kayla Bryan? Okay, Kayla Bryan, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Annette Allen sending you birthday greetings. Hope you have a really good one as well. Yeah.
Turn up a chorus. Tana said it, but they said them threatened me, so I'm going to say it again. Kayla Bryan, happy birthday to you. It's coming from Annette Allen, alright? Kayla Bryan. Bali says, these songs when I had my first girlfriend. And him near our tune, him says, Samantha, 1990. I had your first girlfriend in 1990, Bali. 1990, where were you, Tana?
I wasn't born.
Okay, where did I? 1990, I was in grade 4. No, in grade 3. I was in grade 3 in primary school.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in grade 3.
Wow.
King in a grade 9 at Calabar. Yeah. 1990. Samantha. You can't forget Samantha, eh?
Pull up the song, Jermaine.
Pull up it, John. Wanna say, Jermaine King played Tevin Campbell here on the Mayor's Parlor with me, Desmond McKenzie. Mayor, big up yourself, Mayor. This is the tune. Nora said if we done the show and come off our ear. So we're gone.
She's in the wings.
We're gone.
That's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. Thanks so much to our technical operator, the musical maestro, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith, and our super editor, Kimone Thompson. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana Thomas.
And my name is George.
Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
Residents in Catherine Hall, St. James are now benefiting from a newly renovated